That's there, that's there, that's there. I think it's the best way for you guys to click through it because I'll be typing.
I forgot my packet downstairs.
Really? Oh, I had them earlier. You want a spare? I have a spare one. It's over in the box.
I just rolled my packet.
Yeah. It happens. Laura is finishing up with the sign-up sheets. I have 1 through 5. I would say so, yeah. Anne is, I'll tell her that I'll peek out there and let her know it's 6:30. So Joe is missing. Who else is missing? Dustin, right? Missing. Minutes. Okay. I can't. That's what they walk about.
You should be cool today. Remind me before we go. Remind me before we go. You remind me.
Hey Laura, you turn the mic on for me.
Well, we're gonna have enough.
I know. Hey guys, I am turning our mics on, so we will be live. Hear me here. This is that's the continuance for, Fresno.
This is good.
I don't know, I don't have one. You want me to get one? Okay.
Let me know when you're ready, man.
Wherever you are.
Ready? Ready?
You know we have 2 sets of minutes, right?
Well, welcome everyone back for our second try at this. We do have a quorum tonight, so the chair recognizes the quorum, open the meeting. First thing first, I want to thank all the veterans in the audience for your service. We appreciate it, and God bless every one of you, especially our Marines. I know we've got at least one Marine. Happy birthday today, 250 years. If everyone please rise, we'll say pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Bless you.
Next on our agenda is approval of minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes.
This is September or last minutes.
We have September and October. We have 2 sets.
Move to approve minutes as sent.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to approval of agenda. I asked that we make a change to our agenda tonight, since we have a couple large ones. I asked that we move new business up first, and then have old business second.
I'll make a motion that we move the public hearing for minor plat petition MIP 25-18 to our first order of business.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That's approval for our agenda. We'll move on to new business. It's public hearing for minor plat petition MIP 2518. Mr. John Larson of Holloway Engineering on behalf of trustees and Senator Lambert, Linda Grunwald, and Joni Hopwood is requesting approval as a 2-lot minor plat. The 34-acre plat is generally located at 11141 North Worker Road in Brown Township and is currently zoned ag.
Thank you. I'm John Harrison. I'm with Holloway Engineering, located at 100 Professional Court in Mooresville. I am here on behalf of the Eugene and Barbara Perry Family Trust and the state. We're here tonight concerning a 75-acre parcel located at 11141 North Worker Road in Mooresville. If I could get you to look at the handout that I gave you. Specifically, we're talking about those parcels that are highlighted in green and blue. Then further note the parcels in green are numbered number 1 and number 2. These parcels are part of the original Roker farm. They're part of the original Roker farm. It was 181 acres purchased by Eugene and Barbara Perry in the year 2000 to become the Perry Family Compound. And tonight we're here to work toward the settlement of the Perry's estate. You will note those 2 parcels outlined in green. One is a vacant 5-acre parcel, parcel 1. Long-range plan for that is residential parcel. Lot number 2, there's acres in size. That is zoned agriculture. It does have an event center or wedding center located in it for which the Perry family has received a special use variance. However, it does remain agricultural. As you can see, the properties are not all contiguous, and further, you see that lot number 1 and lot number 2 are actually separated on the ground by a lane known as Milk House Lane. So it really makes sense, both on the ground and in Perry's efforts to sell off all the local parcels that are part of the estate to divide these parcels. I will be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Each lot at the end of that drive maintenance agreement, it says in number 1 here, is that what that is?
I did make them a part of, if they use that land, as each of them also have.
Access house or broker? Or the other lots in that agreement?
They are.
Any questions for Mr. Larson? No, thanks, Mr. Larson.
Thank you.
Anybody? No opposition?
No, sir.
We have no one else signed up to speak against also?
Nothing for or against.
None for or against, so this will, now Ms. Parker, would you like to give us your technical report?
Mike, if there's any questions I can help you with, I'd be happy to. But this is your pretty standard minor plat.
Do you have any questions? All right, we'll just close our public portion of the hearing. The floor is open for discussion and or a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve minor plat petition MIP-25-18 that we sent to the commissioners with the favorable recommendation.
Recommendation, do we have a second?
A second.
We don't
No,
have to
that's
send
a
it.
plat.
It's plat,
Yeah.
so we don't have to say it.
We don't send that.
Sorry, Mom. Mayor.
But with-
Correct this.
Yeah, sure, you want me to correct it?
No, you're good. I got
You got it?
Yep.
Okay.
Was Kenny seconding it?
Yeah, I can say.
Okay.
That is to approve the plat. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Yeah, Mr. Wilson. We will move on. Old business, public hearing for minor plat petition MIP 2515. It is continued from September 8th, 2025. Rodney and Becky Foley are seeking approval for a 6-lot minor plat. The 31-acre parcel generally located at 2021 Deer Lake Drive in Washington Township and zoned ag. This was presented to us in that meeting, and at that meeting, we asked them to have a meeting with the owners of Lincoln, what's that called? What's that subdivision? Legendary Hills. Sorry, of Legendary Hills. We had a request today to continue that from the owners. They're asking for a 30-day continuance. As far as I know, they haven't had a meeting yet. Does anyone here presume to the time? No? So they have asked for a continuance. They want 30 days. I say we don't hear it until January.
Agree with that?
Make sure that they get their meeting and get that driveway figured out. And that was the issue, and that's my recommendation. So I'll offer a motion to continue this till January.
Ken Hill makes a motion to approve, table the minor plat petition MIP-2515 till January.
Do we have a second?
Have a second.
Seconds, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. It is continued till January. We need to copy that.
Well, it's in my email.
We'll move on to our item B on our old business, public hearing for rezone petition PUD 2502 is continued from October 22nd meeting because we did not have quorum. Jim Banning of Banning Engineering on behalf of TLHC LLC of Indiana is seeking approval to rezone approximately 200 acres from the previous PUD, or planned unit development, to new planned unit development. The area included the proposed planned unit development is privately owned golf course located within the Heartland Crossing community, which has been developed across adjacent portions of Morgan, Marion, and Hendricks County. The address of the petition is commonly referred to as 6701 East Heartland Boulevard in Madison Township. Mr. Bannon, please come up and state your name, your address, please.
Thank you. Good evening.
Make it too dark for you? But,
Sorry?
is it too dark?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, is it too dark?
Nope.
Oh, you're good?
No, hot, no glasses on.
And there is a laser pointer there if needed.
Okay. Good evening, Jeff Banning, Banning Engineering, 853 Columbia Road, Suite 101 in Plainfield, 46168. I also have here with me this evening.
Can you talk more into the mic for me? I'm sorry.
More in, gosh, I'm usually very loud.
Our sound system
Yeah.
has an
Okay. Do I need to repeat all that? Okay. I have here with me this evening the owners of the golf course, Mr. Ron Overton, Mr. Sean Stewart, and we thank you for allowing us to come before you here this evening. I know nobody's fault, but want to apologize to all the people behind us. That was just unfortunate. We couldn't present here a couple weeks ago. As I go through this presentation, I will just let you know, and you can stop me whenever, but there's a lot of information that I want to present. I think it's imperative to this particular petition. So if you ever need to stop me and ask questions, please do so. I just think it's really important to kind of go through this, and I just want to make that point. I guess first thing I want to say is thanks to the county staff, for Laura in particular. We've had multiple meetings with the county trying to figure out what we think ends up being a pretty decent plan, and they've been very instrumental in this. And I might add that the staff has, stated that they're giving a favorable recommendation to this petition. So I just want to make that comment. So we've been working on this petition for several months and have had several meetings. And I think I want to set a couple things in order here before we start talking too much about things. Heartland Crossing, I believe everyone is aware of where it's located. As you can see up on the slide, you can see that it is in 3 counties, and we're showing the 3 different areas within the county. The area that effectively is getting rezoned is the golf area here, as well as the golf course area here. So we affectionately call this the back 9. This is the front 9. That'll come up in the discussion some. Just to kind of lay the line for everything. This is State Road 67. Heartland Crossing Boulevard winds its way up here to 67. Landersdale Road comes over here to 67, turns into Bridge Street. And Paddock Road is over here, County Line Road here, just to give everybody an idea of where we're located. So this development has been going on since mid to late 90s. I think it actually got most of its approval completed in about 1997. So it's been going on for close to 30 years now, with a lot of good success, and a lot of things that people might not like, but it has been a really large development that has changed this area. I might add, I know one of the things we're going to talk about when we talk about traffic, Landersdale Road, which turns into Bridge Street. I was heavily involved in the development over here in Mooresville back in the day, probably more like 35 or more years ago, when Bridge Street actually teed into State Road 67, where the Walgreens is at currently. That was all farm fields. As Roberson Woods and that development was completed, Bridge Street actually got extended out to Landersdale Road, where it takes the 90-degree turn out here at school. Of course, has their soccer fields and facilities, and as everyone is aware, there's a trail along the south side of Landersdale Road. So just to kind of give everybody an idea of what's going on. Unfortunately, as we go back into the history and look at the approvals of everything, Morgan County's records are nowhere to be found. So, and whether that's the case or not, I just want to make the comment that whether there were records out there or not, for us to go through rezoning, we would go through this process, no matter if we can find those records or not. And actually, the enclave here went through the same process. So that was a part of the PUD originally. The developer of that section wanted to put in more homes. They went through this very process several years ago and went through the commission, went through the commissioners, and got their approval. So the only difference here is we're talking about a golf course versus an area that had originally been approved residentially, albeit the density was much less than what actually got approved coming through this body and through the commissioners here several years ago. So just to give everyone an idea, no matter what we do, no matter what records are out there, to change something, we have to go through this process if it's associated with zoning. Unlike the plat that John just got approved, that's ministerial for the most part through the commission. We're going through the zoning, so therefore you're going to give a recommendation, and then that will ultimately be approved by the commissioners. So just want to make that clear for everyone in the audience as well as those sitting up front. Oh, okay. Anything high level that anyone has any discussions or any questions on at this point? Okay. Seeing none, I will move on. So this is a plan that was proposed about a year ago. Excuse me. This was proposed by Gravison Development. And, excuse me, got a little bit of a cold coming on. The owners and Manning Engineering, although involved, we weren't readily involved. We were pretty much on the sidelines as the developer started through the process of getting this rezoned. And as you can see, just to give some bearings here, back 9, front 9. And what they were looking at doing was proposing approximately 620 residential units on the 200-acre golf course. Things did not go well. They withdrew that petition, and I will tell you that we as a team, being myself and the owners, learned a lot from that, sitting on the sidelines. And so as we started rethinking about how we would go about this process, we want to make sure that we did not make the mistakes that were made previously. So I just want everyone to know we have, even though maybe a lot of people don't agree with this, we have at least tried to get out and communicate and work with the neighborhood on this process. So, once again, as I said, we have tried to meet with the neighbors and communicate with them and try to work through the process. Change can be very difficult, and we understand that. So what we've attempted to do going through this process is to come up with a compromise and come up with a plan that we feel is best for the community. And I've got a lot of information that we can pass on in regards to this.
Jeff,
Yes, sir.
how many meetings public meetings do you have?
We had 3.
3.
Yes. And I can tell you, I had multiple meetings with neighbors. I know the owners did as well. So we have very much tried to communicate. I'm getting a little ahead of myself in my discussion or what I was
I
saying.
just want to know how many you have.
Yeah, no, this is good. Literally, all 3 meetings we had, coming out of those meetings, we either changed or added to or committed to through all of those meetings. So, the Lance Apartment Crossing have had 5 owners. And I'm not sure if everyone is aware of that or not. I actually talked to the original owner who was not intending to build this golf course. He actually had another developer set up to build the golf course. That developer backed out. The owner committed to building the golf course, so he built the golf course. Beautiful course, I think we'll all agree to that. It's held the state high school golf championships there back in the day. So there's no questions it's a quality golf course, and it was designed and built well. Unfortunately, it has not done well financially, and that's really the crux of the reason for us being here this evening. Going through our process of trying to plan things, we looked at multiple different options of layouts for this course. The graphic up there on the screen currently is the one that we actually filed with the original petition. You will see that that has been modified. Here again, Terry, based on the 3 meetings we had, we've heard a lot of comments and concerns from the neighborhood. And so we tried to change our layout to accommodate them. But what you can see, the back 9, we're proposing to stay. Thrive Church would be where the current clubhouse is. About 8 to 10 acres would be their development here. A new clubhouse would then be constructed for the back 9. And then you will hear us talk, the maintenance facility now will end up turning into a commercial lot. And then we've proposed 370 lots within this area here. Going through our meetings, and I'm going to back up a little bit, we literally talked about what do we do with this? Do we redo the entire 18 holes, which is a lot of money to do, to shorten it up. I know Ron Overton and I had multiple discussions regarding that. Maybe put some homes around the golf course. We talked about putting in a par 3 golf course. We talked about having holes for the HOA to take care of. We talked about the golf course actually being, maybe not for profit, that was just maintained. We looked at all these different options, and at the end of the day, what we felt like was probably the best option is the one that we filed, having 9 holes, reconfiguring a portion of the 9 holes, and then developing the other 9 holes. And purely from a business model, what that would do, that would allow us to get some income to do some of the maintenance, the long-term maintenance that maybe hasn't been done well over the 30 years, to get an infusion into the area that it can be maintained and be brought back up to that standard as when it was built previously. So we looked at all these things, and this is what we came up with. And the other thing that really came out of the discussion was that the average age in Heartland Crossing is 41. And that's usually those childbearing years, and it's pretty tough to go play 18 holes. And if we could cut that down to 9, that would hopefully give people an opportunity to be able to still go play golf and not have to spend 4 to 6 hours out there. So just some of the things that we've taken into account as we've gone through this process. As part of our development, and I actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the changes that were made from our original submittal. As you can see, our original entrance was here on Landersdale Road. We got pretty close to the sanctuary, which is the subdivision here. And through some of our discussions with the neighbors, we changed our layout, moved our entrance to the west, gave more common open space, whereas before, we were much closer to the lots over here at the sanctuary. So as I said, in the 3 public, or they weren't really public hearings, neighborhood meetings, we listened to the neighbors, trying to manage all of the differing opinions because there were many. And at the end of the day, this is the plan that we came up with. And we feel like it's a pretty good plan. There's 370 single-family homes, that'd be the maximum number of homes. There's 3 different lot sizes, so that's the different colors that you see up there. As part of this, we will actually have 40 acres of common area. So as we talk through this and we think about the original golf course being 200 acres, right now that 200 acres, yes, it's open space if you want to call it that, it's green space if you want to call it that, but technically to get out on that, you're supposed to pay to play golf. We're actually setting aside 40 acres that would be common open space that can be utilized for the new neighborhood as well as the current neighborhood. As all of Heartland Crossing is, there's a mixing of all of that community with trails, bike paths, and everything else. So we've committed to that.
Jeff?
Yes, sir.
In your 40 acres, that's not the golf course itself?
The 40 acres is not the golf course, and it is not the church.
Okay.
So if you if you went through, and I will tell you, this has changed since we did our original submittal. So the numbers aren't quite the same as what's in the document you have, because we made commitments. When we were gonna have the last plan commission meeting that was continued, we had a neighborhood meeting the Wednesday prior, or the Thursday prior to that. And in that meeting, we committed to some additional things that likely don't show up in the information that you have. But the back nine, just to give everybody a reference, the back nine is 80 acres. The church is 8 to 10 acres, and then we've got another 40 acres. So 80, 90, and 40, that's about 130 acres. So about 70 acres is actually what's being developed. Give or take, there's some fluctuation in there, but just so everyone knows, original golf course, 200 acres, back nine is approximately 80, the church is approximately 10, and then we've got 40 acres of common open space. So we have not included the golf course or the church in our common open space. So, as I stated, we met with the homeowners. We've continued to make changes based on comments from them. I personally thought they were pretty good meetings. We'll let them say whether they were or not, but I thought it was really important and imperative based on the last group that tried to go through this process, and unfortunately, they just didn't do a very nice job of communicating. It's just part of the process. We wanted to communicate, and we've held to that. They might not like what we've done, but we communicated, and we tried to come up with remedies to their concerns. We're not going to solve every problem that's been thrown out there at us, but we've tried. One of the items that we really tried to show, and it really doesn't show very well up here, but you can see our amenities area up here, which sets right here. Here again, we moved it away from the sanctuary, so it's over here kind of tucked into the neighborhood. We're keeping this wooded area and this really nice area here on the current golf course. We're actually contemplating keeping that hole. I don't play golf that often. I don't know what hole it is, but we're contemplating that. There's an existing pond here, an existing wooded area here, and as you can see, we've got a buffer all the way around, 50-foot minimum, all the way around with landscaping and mounding.
What's in your amenities area?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, what's in your amenities area up there? Can you
So-
show me? No, this one down here that you have.
That's it,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is a larger view. I'm sorry, I confused you.
Okay,
This is just a larger view of it, and you can see we're showing a pickleball court, a pool, playground. We've got a little parking area here. Like to have, maybe similar to like what's in Parkland Crossing now, they've got some shelters that, can possibly be rented out or you can have events at. So we're trying to, and I might add, going back to the neighborhood meetings, this was an excellent comment from the neighbors in that they were concerned that we were going to put 370 lots in here and then everybody was going to flock over to their HOA. Well, what we did is we tried to put this more centrally located in our development so that our neighbors, our HOA, because we're going to have a separate HOA most likely, they will utilize this area with the hope that, we don't have a lot of this cross migration over to the current amenities areas.
Jeff, does that cause, having separate HOAs, does that cause an issue with that green space?
Currently, the HOA has absolutely nothing to do with the 200-acre golf course.
Yeah, no, what I'm talking about, if this would pass,
Mhm.
and your new common area,
Mhm.
we got separate HOAs, is there a conflict there with two separate HOAs, or?
No, I don't believe so. No,
Okay, okay,
I
I don't know, that's what I was asking.
Okay. no, I mean, it's like we're doing a brand new subdivision.
Okay. Everyone, if you'd please, keep down a little bit, just give Jeff his time.
So now thank you for asking the questions, you're getting me to jump ahead on some of the
I'm
things
sorry, I
I'm
didn't
talking
mean to
about.
jump
Oh, no, because this is good conversation. One of the things that we've discovered, when you did things 30 years ago, they were a little bit different than what you would do in today's world, right? One of the things that we discovered, and here again, this is having the neighborhood meetings and trying to help understand the concerns and what everyone is asking, so we can have an idea of what sort of commitments we can put out there. One of the very first questions that I heard, and if anybody's been out there, there's a nice walking trail along the roads. So along the existing roads out here, there's a really nice walking trail. And the question was, is that trail going to stay or is it going to go away? I said, well, we're not going to do anything with that. It's going to stay. Well, as we started doing our research, as we started getting further along in the analysis, trying to understand what kind of buffers we could commit to, where we could put landscaping, where we could put mounting and so forth. One of the things we found out is that there's a good portion of the existing trail along, is it Ayrshire and what's the other? Badger Grove. Along both of those trails, that part of the current Heartland Crossing Trail is actually on the golf course property. And part of the playground down here is actually on part of the golf course property.
Which part of the trail is crossed?
It's a really squirrely property line, common line. There are areas that the HOA and that the golf course take care of for each other, and they don't know they're taking care of it for each other.
Okay. Is it down on the south end of it?
No, there's probably 3 or 4 spots actually.
Oh, is it really?
Yes, all throughout that west line. And so, one of the items that I wanted to pass along is, you've got 2 local businessmen, local owners that are trying to do the right thing, but they've got a failing business. Well, the issue is they want to make things right. We've identified these areas. We know what we need to do to solve those problems. I will also pass along, Tri-County is the utility provider in the area. Tri-County takes care of the drainage as well, right?
Yeah.
There's drainage that goes across this property without any easements. There's, utility issues that right now, the way things sit, need to be resolved. And as part of this, and here again, when this was done, it was all owned by one owner, right? So it wasn't that big of a deal. As we are now going through the process and discovering all of these particular items, we're finding these things out. And, having that in the control of local people and being willing to negotiate and to be able to solve those particular discrepancies is huge. And so that's just a commitment that, we want to make here this evening, that those are things that need to be taken care of. And we're here and willing and wanting to do that very thing. So there are 3 additional commitments that are not in the document that you received from us. As I said, mainly because we had a neighborhood meeting on a Thursday evening, couldn't get the information back to you to be distributed in a timely manner when we came to the Planning Commission meeting on Wednesday that was continued. But there's 3 new commitments that I think are really important, and here again came from our neighborhood meetings. And I might also say there are multiple commitments, multiple changes we've made. These are just 3 that we want to add to our PUD ordinance. One of them is that we're going to provide a 50-foot wide buffer from any rear lot to any existing adjoining residential property line. The second one is that in the sanctuary, the people that live in that area that bought there originally, there was a commitment for them to do a brick wrap on their homes. And so what we did is we literally took the commitment from Hartman Crossing, and we're going to commit to that this evening for the people in the sanctuary. And that commitment is all sides of a home that abuts the sanctuary shall be 100% masonry on the first floor exterior wall, exclusive of doors, windows, gables, and garage doors. And that's exactly the way it was written, with the exception of abuts the sanctuary, but that is the wording from the original Hartman Crossing approval. So the lots right along here, we're committing to do that as part of our commitment here this evening. And then the third commitment, we talked with Mr. Daly, who lives over here, who was involved. Well, he actually lived there when the original developer came in, and I've met with him a couple times, and we committed to a particular type of fence and mounting and landscaping over there, and we will put that into the commitment. Mr. Daly called me last week, I believe it was, and was asking for a change in the type of fence. We have not been able to research that yet to see if we'll agree to. It's a little higher standard of what we had proposed originally. But we're committing to what we've told him a couple of weeks ago, that we're looking into this additional commitment for him as well. So those are 3 commitments that do not show up in the packet that you have in front of you. I think it bears to say that we use the comprehensive plan as a guideline for how development occurs in the county. And, the county's comprehensive plan, just pretty much reading this verbatim, shows this area's future on a future land use map to be mixed use, which would include residential in this high intensity area, with smart growth management, having walkable neighborhoods and a range of housing. We feel we've complied with this recommendation as part of the comprehensive plan that was just recently done. The golf course, the way it sits today, it doesn't make sense the way it's operating today. And so we feel like by the plan that we're bringing before for you this evening. That helps get the 9 holes up and running and gives an influx of income to be able to improve that. We know change is difficult. You're going to hear a lot about that, and we understand that. I understand that. I've seen that. I've been involved in this a lot before, and it's a difficult thing. And, you know, right now in our world, we make a lot of things, a lot of decisions are emotional, and I get that. I think there needs to be an aspect of emotional thinking when it comes to approvals, but I also believe that in the decision process, we need to look at the facts as well. And we continue to hear, I'll call it rhetoric, a lot of information out there that's probably not correct. And I will say, you know, in the audience, someone has done a nice job pretty much putting together, I think, some sort of AI video. I don't know if anyone's seen that or not. It's a great video. You know, trying to promote the golf course. I think if anybody would look at that, I think you'll see that, you know, what we're proposing still allows for all the things that they're showing in that video to occur. By keeping the 9 holes, by creating a new center element with Thrive Church locating there, and creating, you know, a new residential subdivision, as all of the other residential subdivisions are throughout the Hartman Crossing community. And, you know, we're just creating that next new community where people can have memories and raise families and do the things that they want to do. So, like I said, emotion drives a lot of our decisions, and we should not take that out of the decision. So don't take that wrong. But I think there's some things, no, I don't think, there are some things that I believe we need to hear as a group this evening that don't necessarily get stated out there. You know, this golf course, 200 acres, and I've seen some conflicting numbers, but 200 acres pays somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000 a year in taxes. $8,000 to $10,000 a year in taxes. Why? Well, the legislature has set up some crazy tax code. I'm not a tax person. I've talked to a financial advisor as he's helped us look at this. And when you have a business and it's not doing well, you can take that value down. So it's not necessarily the assessed value of the property, it's the business that's on that property. And I'm going to continue to stress, this is a business today. It's not common, open, green space that people can go out there and walk on. They probably do, but it costs money to play on this golf course. When you go through and look at Zillow and look at adjoining values of homes, $300,000 probably a good average range. We think that's probably what the values of the homes will be on these new lots. We're wanting to create 300 to 350, and they go up from there. But based on the numbers that we have, we build 12 homes, and that'll give you the same taxable income as a 200-acre golf course. I want to get some facts out there. Now, there's a lot of other things that go into that, right? But I just want you to understand, purely from a taxable standpoint, 15 homes, with Senate Enroll Act 1 and all the things that are getting ready to happen from a tax and county standpoint, city, municipality, it's really important to think of those things as we're making these decisions. And I just want to point that out there. This has a huge, huge impact. One of the other misconceptions out there is about schools. Mooresville schools this year have 135 less students than last year. That's about $1 million in funding. We aren't overcrowding the schools. We're actually losing students. I have to say this, I have a Mooresville address, I happen to live in Hendricks County, but Plainsfield schools lost 125 students. There's a trend out there. Avon, we think of them being like this big, growing, whatever school, they gained 2 students this year. We have a school funding issue that we need to think about. We have a housing issue we need to think about. And we feel like that this development can help with that. I think the other fallacy is everybody thinks that there's going to be 2 or 3 kids in each one of these homes. You're probably talking 0.5 to 1 student per house. That's the normal average in a development like this. Here again, we hear these facts out there that aren't always true. I'm trying to set the facts straight. There are approximately, and I didn't hear the official number, there are approximately 750 transfer students into Mooresville schools. It's a good thing we've got transfers. Just telling you some facts. We already talked about the discrepancies on the common property line. So I'm not going to go over that again. One of the other things that comes up is traffic. We've met with the county staff, the highway engineer. We've done a preliminary traffic analysis. I think as we move forward, if we get the opportunity to move forward, we're going to do whatever is required of us, what's done in most developments from a traffic impact standpoint. As I think about this, and I mentioned this earlier, when we look at the overall plan, the majority of the traffic is going to come out Landersdale Road and go over to 67, via Bridge Street, which I designed 35, 40 years ago, or coming through Hartman Crossing up to 67. Yes, there will be some that maybe uses County Line Road or Paddock Road. Our analysis will look at all of that and that distribution and what we need to do to take care of that. I don't know that many developments come before you at this phase and really have answers on traffic. We've done a lot of intersection analysis and we've got some data that talks about that. I just want everyone to know we are trying to answer all the questions and concerns that are out there.
Jeff, I got a real quick question.
Yes, sir.
You rolled in off of Landersdale.
Yes.
The line of sight's okay there? Is that up on the hill or is that down, is that going down a little bit?
So there's really only 2 locations where that entrance can go, where our original entrance was and where we're showing it now. We have looked at site distance on that, and we know we're going to have to do improvements on there. We're going to have probably passing Worcester turn lanes. We actually, I think I've got a board over here that actually shows that if anybody wants to look at it. But here again, we're in zoning doing engineering stuff. We are trying hard to answer the concerns and questions. I think the next issue I'm going to bring up, and probably maybe one of the most contentious, and it goes back to the golf course, the green space, the whatever we want to call that. I went to the Hendricks County Commissioners meeting here, I don't know, a month and a half ago, and presented before them and said, you know, I gave them all the information that we had available. We know there's information that has been destroyed. And I guess I'll just leave it at this. Hendricks County Commissioner said this is a Morgan County issue. They don't want this to even be brought to them. Whatever Morgan County decides is Morgan County's decision. I can expand on that if anybody wants me to, but here again, we're trying to do our due diligence. When Hendricks County approved Hartman Crossing, they asked for density, they asked for commercial. Hendricks County got that as part of the, I guess, horse trading back and forth. The green space ended up in Morgan County. There again, we're keeping a majority of that green space. Something else that came up that I was not aware of, I believe there's a fire station, I see it on there, a fire station in Decatur Township that was part of this deal originally,
Is it up?
Madison Township.
It's up Trotter Road, right?
Yeah, yeah.
On Trotter Road.
Yep, there, okay, here we go, right there, right there.
Yeah.
The Madison Township Fire Station and offices, the League of Miracles, the school property, just east of the site on the south side of Landersdale Road was part of this as well. We designed League of Miracles, we designed a cross-country course for Mooresville Cross Country, we designed the football fields for Mooresville Youth Football. That was all part of this. That was all part of this green space discussion as part of the settlement early on, is what I've been told. So I don't know that a lot of that gets stated out there, and I just want everyone to understand that. There's probably other things I could talk about, but I think, excuse me, I think those are the main things factually. I know tonight's discussion, I know the remonstrators, and rightfully so, are going to be very emotional about this. And they should be. I mean, their community is going to change. And I'm just telling you, we're here this evening to help that change be as beneficial and as unencumbering as possible. And that's what we're bringing for you here this evening. You know, I wanted to bring one other item up. You know, the courthouse here in downtown Martinsville is being refurbished, right? I think the way I understood that, but it probably hasn't been refurbished or touched in maybe 50 years. I'm going to equate this golf course to the courthouse since we're sitting here in Martinsville. We, as a government, we can build really cool buildings. They become historic, and we want to keep those and protect those. And we should keep and protect that courthouse and keep it to where it is the center of commerce in Morgan County. But we have a funding source to do that with taxes. I'm bringing before you here this evening a golf course that does not have that funding source, that has had 5 owners, that have not been able to put money into this beautiful golf course that was pristine and high level when it first opened. It cannot and will not continue to survive at a high quality because it's just financially, business-wise, not working. And if there was some sort of funding source, it's a whole different situation. But we didn't really develop a whole lot of homes around this golf course that generated people that played golf. I'm involved in a huge development out west of Plainfield that is going to do that. That developer understands how to develop a golf course and let it live in perpetuity by having funding sources to keep it up and running. Unfortunately, built this golf course 30 years ago, not that no one thought of that, but it wasn't put in place to take care of like a lot of other golf courses today or taxable, municipal buildings. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm going to continue to say change is difficult. Change is difficult. It really is. There's an emotional decision here. There's a factual decision. They all have to play into this. And I just saying for the owners, we are trying to do what's right and best for the community. And I can tell you not everyone is going to like it, but that's what we're here for this evening. And I guess at this point, I'm going to say, wow, that was a lot. Sorry. I don't know if anybody has any questions of me or if you want to talk to the people behind me.
Anyone have any questions for us? Anyone, is there anything? You think I want to know?
Thank you very much.
I've asked my questions as you went along.
I'm sorry.
I said I asked my questions as you went along.
I told you to do so thank you.
Thank you. So we're ready. As we move along here, I just want to go over a few of the procedurals here, which I forgot to go over. One thing I hope you all understand is that we just do a recommendation. We are not the rezoning. And so we just do either favorable, non-favorable, or no recommendation. It goes to the commissioners. The commissioners do the final rezone. So our decision tonight is based on what the board feels would be a proper rezone, but the commissioners, they decide what the rezone is going to be. So, and that'll be in the commissioners meeting. We'll go over that afterwards, what time that is. But we have a lot of people signed up under our procedure under 13-C. It's whenever necessary, the president or the member may place a 3-minute time limit on each speaker or demonstrator to allow all those in attendance the opportunity to address. We have a large number, so I am going to put that 3-minute limit on it. The petitioner gets all the time because they are the petitioner, and the petitioner will have time to come back and do a rebuttal at the end with more time with it, because they are the petitioner, and they're the ones that petition the board. So we'll go ahead and we'll go, Melissa, she will announce her name, and then she'll announce the next person up. And as soon as the 3 minutes are up, we would like the next person to be walking this way, because we've got such a large crowd.
So next up,
Oh, and please adjust that mic. Those mics don't pick up unless you're right in front of them. You can't hear it.
so next up we have Steve Boland, and following him we have Brad Allen.
Yeah, Steve Boland's in support. You passed? Okay.
Okay, Brad Allen, and then followed by Brian Denham.
thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys all being here and listening to what we have to say as far as demonstrators go. My name is Brad Allen, the Director of Operations at Hickory Stick Golf Club. I've got 28 years of experience as a Director of Operations. There's going to be very few people in this room that have got more experience on the golf course than we have golf courses run. I'm here tonight specifically to start the conversation off with why Hickory Stick, or not Hickory Stick, why Heartland doesn't survive. Heartland doesn't survive because it's a seasonal business. It's simply just a very one season of profit, the summer. You look around and see what other golf courses have done. They've invested in the golf courses. Hickory Stick's a great example. There's a restaurant there. Go up the road just a little bit, Fox Cliff, he's got the Bourbon Bar and the simulators. There's reasons why Heartland's not making it, and it's simply because no investment has been made to make it survive. It will never, ever, ever, ever survive as a 9-hole golf course because those investments aren't going to be made there either. We have to look at it as an 18-hole course. That's what I'm here for. I represent a group that wants to buy this as an 18-hole golf course. We want to invest in Heartland Crossing like the golf course deserves and the community deserves. It's a restaurant, it's a catering business, and it's a top golf type of range. We presented this to the current ownership. They've listened. We appreciate them listening to us as far as that. What it comes down to is money. We've offered $2.5 million. That number wasn't enough to compare with what development can offer. We understand that. We get that. What I'm telling you to do, and what I'm asking you to do, keep it green space, allow the current golf course ownership to triple their investments on what they did when they first purchased the failing business of Heartland Crossing. Allow somebody to come in that has the experience to operate the facilities, such as my group, or a group similar to mine. It doesn't have to be ours. There's 3 groups that currently want to buy this golf course as a golf course. Now, when you look at it from a 10,000-foot view, it's pretty easy to say, well, anybody can run a golf course. That's just not it. You look at the guys that have run this golf course. There's been a roofer, there's been a dentist, a farmer, a machine shop operator, and a home remodeler. None of these folks understand the seasonal business of golf courses, and they're not going to. Let's stick with a person in a group that wants to buy it and that can provide the community what the community needs and what the community wants and what will survive. You start to build in that, there'll be a community that will build around it because they want to be part of something as exciting as what we're going to bring to this golf course. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Can I serve you for a second? Announce the next person.
You're Brian?
Yeah.
Richard Lane.
Sir?
He left that one person. I was actually an owner too. I was with that roofer, and we bought the course at a time that was very difficult. And I wanted to suggest to the board that to be in the golf course business right now is the best time we've seen in decades. So what I heard earlier, I have to object. We heard 2 things that really disappointed me. Historically, it's not done well financially. That was a statement that was made earlier, and it's a failing business. Now, I would agree with that if I was going to buy this golf course in 2018, but today's 2025. A little historical data. Back in 2007, whenever Tim Strout first sold the golf course, within a couple of years, within 1 year, the S&P dropped by 55%. The golf business dropped nationwide by about 20%. Ladies golf by about 20, and also about 20%. 1,200 golf courses closed within that short period of a couple of years. Within 5 years, it took 5 years before the S&P brought itself back up to where it was in 2007 when Tim first sold that course. Now, I'd like to compare that to data that we see right now. Whenever this course was purchased in 2018, from that date till today, the S&P is up 137%. The total golf business is up 38%. Ladies golf is up 28%. Youth golf is up, junior golf is up 40%. Hispanic, Black, and Asian golf is up 43%. Golf is thriving now. This is a renaissance of golf. And the idea that this business is failing is a calculated desire, I believe, by the current ownership. In 2018, the idea, I believe, by the way, all this planning is wonderful. Go buy some farm ground and do it someplace else. But this planning takes years to do. This takes years to do. And my point in saying that is, I think this was calculated. Whenever you buy 200 acres for $3,800 an acre, who cares if it's called a golf course? If I can convince the zoning board in a few years that I can't succeed in the golf business, sure, you're gonna give me the opportunity to build homes. But the plan has backfired. Golf has thrived through this entire time that they've owned this golf course. And to come now and say it's a failing business, or historically, you can't be successful in the golf business, I would agree with that. But you have to go back to 2018, look at the reality in the world of golf right now. Golf is thriving. And owe it to be an owner during this time. Whenever I owned Dice Country Club back in 2007, a gentleman, when I was headed for bankruptcy, a guy wanted to buy 22 acres from us to put up an apartment complex. I took it to the bank and we both agreed I would rather go into bankruptcy than to close the golf course and destroy a community. This is all about dollar signs hanging in front of you. Golf courses business, this calculated risk that they took has backfired because we're in a renaissance of golf. It's not in a negative nature. Thank you.
Before I call the next speaker, I have a procedural question here. Do we need to be filling in addresses and phone numbers?
They're supposed to have the address, yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Benham, if you could come back up and give me your address and phone number, please. Yeah.
Just address.
You don't have to do it at the microphone, you can come give it to me. I don't think you want everybody in the room.
Just address.
Just the address.
Just the address.
Okay, but I have to clarify something.
No, you don't have to clarify anything. I didn't call you back up to speak. I just wanted to give me your address.
I love golf. My address is 5874 Shallow Lane. It's actually Waltersville. I'm here because I love the game of golf, and I support this community and everything we stand for.
Okay, all right, now we're ready for Richard Lane.
And please give your name and address before you.
Hi, my name is Richard Lane. I live at 13891 North Lake Mills Court in Canby, Heartland Crossing.
Okay, and could I get Connor Lynn on deck, please? Thank you. Okay,
All right, kind of going back with some stats from the National Golf Foundation. The golf course community, the homes in the golf course community increased by being there by 15%. If they take that golf course away, it's going to reduce that, which is going to be a hit on property values in Morgan County section of Heartland Crossing of $59 million. That's at $300,000 average at 1,312 lots, which is what it's in Morgan County. Now, once upon a time, and these are all things I found on Morgan County's website with the planning about, originally, the Morgan County section was supposed to have 1,400 plus homes. That was told he couldn't do that, so he went down to 1,100, built the golf course. We're up to 1,300 already, so that's way beyond the density that I believe that we should have. And then, kind of going down, I just don't want to run out of time without this being said. Looking at your comprehensive plan, which I'm sure you're all aware of, and some of the key takeaways is, you've got to create an attractive environment that enables residential development, which the golf course does, and emphasize environmental conservation and recreation opportunities within the county, which the golf course does. So to take that away, to fill it with homes, there's plenty of other fields that could build homes without wrecking the community. So it just really comes down to my ask here as a golfer in the Indiana State Senior Golf Association that plays all over the state. There are other golf courses, Glendarin Hills, Sultan's Run, Sandy Pines, that are all out in the middle of nowhere that do really well because they market well, they have a nice product, and have, they're in a restaurant and food offerings and drink offerings for their clientele, and a fully stocked pro shop. So with that, the only couple things I'd like to say is, the second greatest commandment is love your neighbor as yourself, and doing this to our community is not loving your neighbor. And I ask that you just say no. Thank you.
And I know that's tempting, but if y'all can hold your applause, we can move through a lot more people more quickly. And that's, I think everybody wants to get out here tonight. Connor, Lynn, Jim Taylor, you are up next. Connor, could you give us your address, please?
It's Connor Lynn, 6581 East Aberdeen Court. It's Canby, Indiana. Thank you for allowing me to speak here today on what is the 50th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So the comprehensive plan establishes a need to retain our recreation spaces. This golf course is one of the only ones listed in our township. It is also believed, I'm not prognosticator, that this is phase one of a full two-phase development here. The 5-year guarantee to not build on the back nine will be up at about the time that the first phase is down and the houses and plots are sold, in which case they can say the back nine is failing and they can move on to adding more houses on it as well. It's also said that, change is difficult. People didn't like it when Hartley Crossing first was built 20 some odd years ago. That was before the largest housing development in the state of Indiana existed there already. So I don't think that it's really the same thing. As a matter of fact, Hartley Crossing, just the Morgan County side, is equivalent to Rooker Run, Rooker Trace, Pioneer Estates, Roberson Village, Roberson Woods, Knightsbridge, Crafton Meadows, Carrington Estates, Bridgemore, Brookmore, Grandview, all combined. It is a massive neighborhood. And there's already other housing developments that have come in since the comprehensive plan in 2019. There have been 844 new houses built, being built, or plotted to be built already. And some of those developments are still in phase one of multiple phases that are already approved. So yes, this was for a high-density development place. We're doing it. We can slow down a little bit. I guess since I have some extra time, I'll address the dip in student population that was referenced earlier. Most of the country is seeing that due to different demographic shifts, primarily the 2008 recession. Recession's lower birth rates. You would expect 17 years later that schools have less students because for a couple of years, people have less kids. Updated demographics look like towns are going to rebound. It's going to be fun.
Thank you.
Jim Taylor and Carrie Meehan, you're up next.
My address.
You can give it to me so I can verify it.
13980 North Cottage Road Court, Canby, Indiana. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'm Jim Taylor. I live in Martin Crossing, 3 blocks away from the golf course. And I agree with everything that the speakers before me said, and I'd like to have the following. As was previously mentioned, we've seen a big increase in residential building, but we haven't seen the needed amenities to go along with it. Those 11 neighborhoods that Connor just mentioned all have a parks department, designated local police and fire departments, access to healthcare facilities, grocery stores, gas stations, restaurants, and other recreational places, and they are represented by their town government. They are also less than 1 mile from a commercial area with amenities and major roadways like 67 and 144. But Madison Township, the 3rd most populated township in the county, behind Martinsville and Mooresville, we have very minimal amenities for our residents. When we drive somewhere to get care or to shop, or to spend our money. 9 out of 10 cases, we are in Hendricks County or in Marion County. There's nothing to keep us here in Morgan County. Our county comprehensive plan calls for growth that is fiscally responsible, preserves open space, and doesn't overburden infrastructure. This proposed neighborhood violates all 3 of those. Our desire is to have accessible amenities to improve the quality of life for already existing residents. Our comprehensive plan values recreational space. This proposed neighborhood erases it. The golf course is an essential amenity to our neighborhood and one of the only commercial places that brings people from other counties to Morgan County. We need to focus on the existing homes and residents. This new neighborhood would be detrimental to the quality of life, not only in Hardwick Crossing, but also for Madison Township residents. I walk my dog along the golf course every morning, rain or shine. There's so many times when I watch the sun come up over the course, and there's this great big fog that's just lifting, and it's just such an incredible, unbelievable view that sometimes I just have to stop and be silent. Please, don't let anyone destroy that view by trying to sandwich 370 houses into an already overdeveloped neighborhood. Please, let us keep our green space all of it. Thank you.
We have Warren Huffman up next, and Carrie, I do need your list, please.
6621 East Daisy Hill Court. I'm pretty loud normally too, so. Okay, thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'm Carrie, and I'm a resident of Heartland Crossing. I'm also a licensed mental health counselor, and I live and work with families in Morgan County. I'm urging you to deny the rezoning of the golf course and the associated housing. Based on our own county data, this kind of growth will worsen mental health risks where access to care and transportation are already spread thin. So in July of 2025, Morgan County adopted the Comprehensive Community Plan for Substance Abuse. I'm not sure if any of you have seen that. But this plan flags shortages of providers, treatment capacity, and identifies lack of public transportation as a barrier to care. These are current gaps, not future hypotheticals. Second, the Kendrick Foundation's county snapshots show how serious the burden already is in Morgan County. 20% of adults experience frequent mental distress, 32% report loneliness, and we've seen close to 200 suicide and overdose deaths since 2019. This is a heavy load for a county with documented provider shortages. We must look at Madison Township as well and how far it is from Martinsville, where most of our county services sit. The county's own plan identifies a lack of public transportation as a barrier. We do have Morgan County Connect, which runs appointment-only weekdays, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. That means evening therapy, crisis needs, weekend recovery support are out of reach for many of our residents. Emergency response capacity is strained across Indiana, and delays are a known problem. The Indiana Department of Homeland Security reports counties see response intervals up to 30 minutes or more. This is driven in part by staff availability and high call volumes, exactly the conditions that accompany fast growth at the edges. In addition, Madison Township does not have a municipal police department. Law enforcement is provided by the Morgan County Sheriff. That's a countywide patrol model serving from the county seat, not a nearby precinct. Adding thousands of new trips and residents at the extreme edge of coverage inherently stretches response times. Fifth, higher density development brings mental health pressures, more traffic, noise, perceived crime risk, all of which are associated with higher anxiety and psychological distress. All of this does lead to worse mental health outcomes. Anxiety in particular rises with neighborhood stressors. That's not abstract theory, that's what families feel when daily life gets busier, louder, and less predictable. Finally, your role is to align rezonings with the comprehensive plan and infrastructure. The county's planning materials make clear that growth should follow capacity. Roads, transit, public safety, and health services, not leapfrog it. Approving higher density housing here, remote from the county seat where most services cluster, contradicts that principle and compounds our mental health and safety risks. As a clinician, I see the human side of these numbers. Basically, that's why I have to stop, so anyway. But from a mental health standpoint, I think this could be detrimental. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lauren Huffman and Barney Gertz is up next.
I'm Lauren Huffman. My address is 13940 North Bluff Creek Court. Thank you for allowing me to speak here tonight. So I have actually lived in Heartland Crossing since 2001. When I was 10, my parents built a home off of Pole 1, and they're still there. And I have actually, and don't do the math on how old I am, but I've actually bought myself and for my family 2 homes in Heartland Crossing on the Morgan County side since that. So, heck, I guess if Tim put in a cemetery, you can probably find me there later too. I would love to agree with everyone all the demonstrators who came before me, and just like to talk a little bit about the open space and the green space, the zoning. So this was originally zoned back in 1995, all 3 counties, and this was the map given to all 3 counties. There is no golf course on here. And there's no mention in any of the minutes or anything like that about a golf course existing. This is the Morgan County side right here, and this is all houses. They've got one little park and a church. And that passed, and all 3 counties. And that actually was for an R1 zoning, and it was going to include 1,721 homes on the Morgan County side. So by early 1996, county zoning laws have changed a bit, so that R1 turned into an R5. And this allowed for a special exception variance for a golf course because it was, between the counties, it was getting a little dicey on density and public schools, and a lot of other issues were starting to come up. So they petitioned BZA for that variance, and in that, the staff finding of fact state that the golf course is a key amenity to residential development, property values will increase, and the engineer report states that a 2,000+ acre golf course will lower the density on the overall 600-acre project significantly. That variance passed, and within the next month, they filed the petition with the famous lost PUD. And that density was down from 1,720 homes to 1,104. And with that, in the minutes for that zoning, the attorney for the developer stated that they actually wanted to do the PUD because it offered a less dense option. And that passed. So as we heard from Mr. Bain's speech, they actually did go to Hendricks County and talk to them about it because they did, their staff findings and their commissioner meeting minutes state that they only approved their PUD zoning in 1997 due to the golf course. That the golf course remained as the open space for them. But they didn't present everything. They didn't show them that. They didn't give them all the facts. It's just the same old song and dance, like we can't make any money. And our comprehensive plan, recreation,
Barney Gertz and Brad Likens is after Barney.
My name's Barney Gertz. I live at 6543 East Walton Drive, North Camden. It's about a half block off the golf course. And I appreciate you allowing me to speak tonight. I have some information I'd like to pass out to them on the way that verifies a lot of the stuff that I'm going to present today. That's okay.
Why don't you give it to her? She can pass it
Okay.
on, so you can take your time.
All right. The housing market and meeting the demand has been a major issue for years. If you look at the MyBoard data for September in Mooresville, you will see that homes are on the average on the market, an average of a month and more.
Yes, sir.
No, we're on a hard time hearing
There
you.
you go. That'd be right in front of
Oh, okay. Sorry. That's that's right in front of my face. Okay. According to the Association of Realtors, Morgan County's real estate market is seeing a big jump in inventory. Currently, there are 222 homes available, which is a 25% increase over last year. The median home price in Morgan County is roughly just under $300,000, as we've all stated, with an average price of $168 per square foot. The homes in the petitioner's application are all versions of the builder Tyler Morrison's Simplicity line. Simplicity is the cheaper or cheapest home Taylor Madison makes. They're currently building these current homes in the Overland neighborhood in Canby. These homes are selling for an average price of about $300,000, but at $220 a square foot. So these homes will be denser, more expensive than the average home in Morgan County, while also having the lowest grade building materials and exterior characteristics. Many of the homes in that line golf courses in Hartman Crossing had special building instructions and covenants. Many of these people in the neighborhood surrounding the golf course actually paid premiums for the golf courses, which, as Richard stated, would now be devalued by 15%. According to the National Golf Association, real estate surrounding golf courses attributed to $72.2 million to the Indiana economy in 2021 and has increased ever since. This encompasses golf related residential construction, net gain in local tax jurisdiction, and value premiums. Again, as stated, Deer Creek Golf Course, west of Plainfield, is about to get totally renovated, and Plainfield thinks it's such a big deal, and that it's important enough that they're trying to annex it. They're trying to change the annexing laws to annex that Deer Creek. Why would Plainfield and Hankey, the builder,
You can finish your thought.
okay, why would they be so interested in annexing it? And Hankey, this is one of several golf courses that are developing. Why would they be doing that if it wasn't out here?
Okay, thank you.
Brad Likens and Spencer Morris would be up next.
My talking point's a little bit different than everybody else's. My name is Russ
Sir,
Likens.
we need you to state your name and give us your address, please.
Name's Brad Likens, live at 6401 East Walton Drive North, Canby, Indiana. Maybe a block from the golf course. But my talking point's a little bit different. I'm talking for the 204 homes that I know are occupied by senior citizens who are on fixed income that cannot afford a financial setback. Now, these guys give up 15%, that's amazing, because I did a bunch of studies on the internet, and I came up with 15% minimum evaluation of property. So for me, that means $4,500. Since Jeff used $300,000, I'll use that same number. That's $45,000 that my property evaluates. Now, if you take that times 204, that's $9,255,000 the senior citizens in our area will not have on day one, or available to them on day one, if this rezoning to residential goes through. Now, these guys have been offered $2.5 million, I guess, for a golf course, but they want more. But they want more at our expense. So I have to speak up for that. I've been a manufacturer for years, and there's this statement that people use, and it's called, it's not personal, it's business. Many times good business comes out of that, but many times bad business comes out of that. And bad business is used as an excuse by those who know what they're doing is dishonorable, disrespectful, and unforgivable, but they go ahead and do it anyway. And it's done for money. And that's what these guys are trying to do. They've got an offer of $2.5 million, but they want to make more money. Now, I'm not trying to vilify them, because now that they know that information, they can make some decisions that would either unvilify or vilify themselves. They could decide, okay, I'm done with this. I didn't realize I'm going to cost the seniors $9,225,000. I don't want any more to do with it. Or they could continue on and say, no, I don't care, and I'm going to cost the senior $9,225,000. $225,000. In which case they would vilify themselves anyway. Now, I personally cannot be involved in anything like this. So I'm asking you, if they decide to carry on, to take into consideration all the ethical, moral, and financial ramifications that haven't been mentioned here tonight. Because that's real to us. $45,000 loss day one if it gets rezoned. 204 homes, there's a lot more homes there, and I know Jeff probably thinks I'm being emotional, but these are real numbers.
Thank you. Hang on for a second, we got, the mic keeps cutting out, we gotta check our battery. Technical problem. I tell you what, we will take a 10-minute break. And give everyone a chance to go to the restroom. They need to the restrooms are right out here.
Yeah, it was full. So, I'd have almost 2 hours. Yeah. I'm gonna go up there and get some tea really quick. Okay. The microphones are now muted. Okay. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some tea.
That's what I'm trying to find out. Who's the lady with the names? I'm going to take my name off the list. Very interesting.
What's your name? What's your name?
My wife and I are Cheryl and David Dutton. She have a Dutton, D-U-T-T-O-N.
Keith, you're right. Proud of her.
Just so you know, I agree with everybody on the other side. I'm sure you know that.
Finally showed up.
I know. I had to stop sitting and the housing council wanted me to wait. So there's a very nice gentleman. He signed up. He's like, I signed up. I signed up for this. And hope to God. Gregory Allen. Just Gregory Gregory
Terry, Bill, yeah. Bill,
He was Bill.
yeah.
Hello, sir. Do you need some candy? You want me to go get water? Anything?
He was in it early.
Big tall guy.
Bill's not real tall.
Are you talking about our bill?
Okay.
Our bill?
No, he said, I don't think he's Bill. I bet it.
Bill walks, he has black shoes on, and he kind of slides when he walks. He's about 80 something.
Bill was in his 80s.
Was it Brian that was sitting next?
Yeah.
Brian's the one that he's big.
He was the next one over.
Yeah, that's Bill.
Bill?
What did he do?
Trying to get through security. Security.
Oh, I left money. Yeah, that does count. Yeah.
There's 9 pages here.
Yes.
Very good. Procedural question. At what point would the county do a traffic study of the area? I know he said he did a traffic study.
We did a traffic study. Back when we did the.
So these are
So about every 10
these
years.
are all the blank ones.
Oh, so it wouldn't happen before this would be.
6, 7, and then 10 through 14.
No, and then that traffic study was designated, main thoroughfare, main arteries, and things like that. So we did traffic study then. We got another one coming up. We'll do.
Yeah, there's no names on them.
Study new thoroughfare. We'll do that.
Then 10 through 14.
Blanks?
Yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead.
But what the highway department.
Throw those away, we don't want to keep track of.
Okay. These are all, so I marked that one out because he's on the other page.
Fine, you want to keep them just the numbers.
Okay.
So even though they're
Throw those away.
or maybe someone supposed to be, no bias to it or whatever. Okay, thank you.
And they've got insurance, and they don't want to, they don't want to lose that license. By Indiana statute, they could.
So that study, just one last question. So it's not like a pass or fail kind of thing. I mean, they just provide the information in the report and just tell you where all the traffic is going. And some other third party has to make a decision whether it makes sense or not.
Highway department looks at it, and say, no, we need to look at it. Highway department has all that information. They're the ones that say
Very good. All right, thanks, appreciate it.
Every office here in the county does a different thing. My office does drainage. All the drainage comes to my office. So that's what we do. We look at the drainage. The highway department looks at those roads and they look at that traffic. Make sure the roads can handle it, make sure the turn lane's right, the line of sight. The question I ask them is to make sure they're looking at everything.
Okay, yeah. Just one more procedural question then. So let's say you somehow would pass this on to the next one. How would we know whether he's approved it? Is that public record?
What it'll be, if we get, whatever we do, it'll be go passed on. We approve it, we don't approve it, or no action at all. It'll go to the next
Oh, I don't
commission.
have it on. Yeah, no, it wasn't on. You have the thing.
Well, if you don't approve it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I didn't know you had the thing. You have it? Okay, I turned it on. Sorry, I didn't know.
So it's kind of, no matter what we do, it gets passed on.
I said I didn't see you grab it or I would have.
We're the first hurdle. Yeah. They have to come to us first. But our vote really means there's nothing, I mean, it's really just to give you more, to give the public the commissioners meeting, if they choose not to have more comments, they don't have to. It's not a public hearing. We are a public hearing. And the commissioners meeting will be next Monday. So we get, and sometimes it goes to the two weeks. So it's either next Monday or the first Monday in December.
So the commissioners don't sit in on any of this then?
No, we got one commissioner.
Oh, okay.
He's appointed to the board.
Because I was wondering how this feedback gets to the commissioner's offices. Because
I think I saw another one sit down here. And I'm sure they're watching on YouTube. Yeah, it's on here. So,
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I kind of forget that sometimes. I'll do something goofy. I look, everyone's watching me. So,
Thanks again.
Oh, I'm just trying to see what their score is. I got a little tired. We can handle that. It's been going great.
You should know I don't traffic in the
picture of the chairman pointing his finger, Gary jumped to the shot.
Who said that?
Oh, the chairman, Gary was standing at the podium after the meeting, he left up the.
I think so. Fingers crossed, but I.
Then he point to Graham and yelled, shut up, and went out into that.
Wow.
It was ugly, it was.
Make sure I have the mic on.
Ready to go?
We're restarting.
All right, everyone, if you please take your seats, we're getting ready to start again. We'll call the meeting back to order.
Do you guys want me to take this back to Matt? Does it matter? Do you want back to Matt? Okay.
Everyone, if you please sit down and we'll get the meeting going. Who's on the next person?
Spencer Morris,
Mr. Moore? And who's on there?
and we have Dale Bochek. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Spencer Morris. I live at 7031 East Eden Blossom Drive in Camden, Indiana. First, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight, and also thank you for your service to the citizens and communities in Morgan County. I can't but agree and urge your consideration and concerns that my fellow citizens of Morgan County have shared with you this evening, as well as my brothers in Gulf. My concerns specifically are about the destruction of protected species and protected species habitat. As you're likely aware, hawks, owls, and eagles are protected raptors in the state of Indiana as enforced by both state and federal code. The harm and destruction of raptors and their habitat is a violation of both state and federal code. Prior to development, to ensure that native raptors and their habitat are not harmed, it is a common and necessary practice to conduct nest audits. Additionally, in the state of Indiana, as I'm sure you're also aware in your position, bats are a uniquely protected species. In the state of Indiana, it is a violation of state code to develop in bat habitat from April 1st to September 30th, which is the bat nesting season. A way to prevent this is also nest audits. At no time before this meeting have I seen any information shared about nest audits for these protected species. I have not heard it during this meeting either. Without the knowledge that protected species and their habitat will not be harmed, and with the knowledge that the Morgan County Comprehensive Code repeatedly cites the protection, support, and value of native resources, wildlife, and recreation, in addition to a standing offer to preserve the current property that is home to hawks, owls, bats, and occasionally visited by eagles, I urge your no vote and your non-favorable of this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dale Bochek, and we have Garrett below, up after Mr. Bochek.
Okay, my name is Dale Bosek. I live at 7065 East Eden Blossom Drive in Camden. Most of the people have taken all the good points that I have written down, so the only thing that I'm left with is just to say that just because I would be a terrible businessman or a terrible homeowner and I can't make my payment on my mortgage, I'm not going to be coming to you and then say, gee, can I build a hotel on my property because now I can make some money. The other thing that I'd like to say is, when I leave here, I'm going to be flying. When I fly, hopefully I'm going to be flying with a certified pilot, not a businessman. Thank you.
Mr. Below.
And who's on next?
And Jerry Weber.
My address,
Please.
8818 Browns Valley Lane, Camden. Good evening, my name is Garrett Valou. I'm a homeowner of Heartland Crossing. I also serve on the Heartland Crossing HOA board. I want to be clear, I'm speaking tonight as a homeowner, not on behalf of the board. I'd like to address and clarify a point noted in the Morgan County Planning Commission staff report, which stated that the HOA dues do not contribute towards the golf course. That is true. Our dues do not contribute towards the golf course. However, that is not unusual. In all the golf course communities that I am aware of, the courses are privately owned and operated separately from the HOA, yet they still function as a core amenity, contributing to the character, open space, and property values of the neighborhoods around them. So while our dues do not fund the course, the community is still directly impacted by what happens to it. The golf course has been part of the identity and desirability of Heartland Crossing for decades, and that gives homeowners a legitimate interest in the rezoning. This leads me to my concern regarding the rezoning of this land and the additional 370 new homes. I truly appreciate and support the community-focused vision Thrive Church has shared. However, the scale of the residential development required to make it possible is where I cannot agree. The church and its mission are not the issue for me. The density and long-term impact of the residential development are. As a real estate broker, I am already seeing declining home values due to increased inventory, longer days on market, reduced buyer demand. Another factor in this is the rise in new construction. And for the first time nationally, current market data is showing that new construction homes are becoming more affordable than existing homes. Because builders can offer rate buy-downs and incentives that existing homeowners cannot compete with. Because of this shift, this development should not just affect the homes around the golf course, it will affect the value of 2,700 homes in Heartland Crossing. My second concern is the lack of clear long-term development plan. Key elements including home count, layout, amenities, and the future remaining golf course have continued to change and are still not firmly defined by the owners. And respectfully, I struggle to understand how a zoning board can feel comfortable approving a rezoning of this magnitude without those assurances. Rezoning now without clear and locked-in commitments is essentially writing a blank check. And rezoning the community will have after rezoning, the community, I feel, will have much less control over what ultimately happens and impacts them. For these reasons, I cannot support this rezoning at this time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Roger Caperton is up next. Roger Caperton.
My name is Jerry Weber. My wife and Peggy and I live on Bedford Road Drive, directly across from hole 6 on the front 9 holes of the links at Heartland Crossing. We've enjoyed this beautiful view of the open green space, the pond, and the playground for 24 years. These views represent peace, community, and the very reason we chose to make Heartland Crossing our home. I'm here tonight out of deep concern and love for this community. Heartland Crossing was built with a vision for a place where families could grow, neighbors could connect, and everybody could enjoy the balance of homes, local businesses, and this beautiful golf course that ties it all together. That course isn't just land, it's part of our shared story. It's where our grandson learned to play golf and developed a lasting love for the game. It's where we have gathered with family and neighbors and provides a safe, wholesome place for the community, where the community thrives. Once it's gone, something far greater than fairways and greens will be lost. It will be the spirit and the character that makes this place special. I understand that change is part of progress, but not all change is growth. Some changes take away from the very things that make a community worth being part of. There are other open areas for development, but there's only one links at Heartland Crossing. So tonight, I'm asking on behalf of our community, please help us protect the legacy that was built here. Vote no on the rezoning proposal. Let this golf course continue to be a gathering place, a green space, and a symbol of what thoughtful community planning can create. In the time that I have left, I'm also going to just touch on a couple of things. First of all, on Bedford Road Drive, we're going to, because of the shared community space they talked about early, there's a park, and that we're going to lose that park. And also, we're going to have back doors facing the backs of houses facing Bedford Road Drive, because where they have the zoning marks now, there won't be the front of the home that we'll be seeing from our yard. It'll be the backs of the homes and the new development. Also, we're going to have increased stress put on the fire, ambulances, and the police. It may take a while, longer, if there's a lot of runs, how much longer are we going to have to wait for emergency help? So with all those things in mind, I again urge you, and I agree with everything that has been said beforehand, to consider what I said. Thank you.
Thank you.
up next? Is Greg here?
Yeah, right.
We had the person before you canceled. The person before you canceled, that's what you got.
Okay, my name is Greg Terhune. I live at 6433 East Edna Mills. That is right at the edge of that's just barely outside of the golf course in the Villas, the neighborhood there. There's only a tennis court between me and the golf course. Madison Township doesn't have towns, cities, or much business. We rely entirely upon residential property taxes to pay for things like schools, emergency services, poor relief, cemeteries, and in most townships, fire protection is the biggest expense of all. In Madison Township, we rank number 41 out of almost over 1,000 townships in Indiana. And it's not because we spend too much, it's because we don't have proper balance to our tax base. The golf course at Hart Lane Crossing is one of the few businesses that Madison Township does have. It creates jobs, brings in visitors, outside money, and helps support the tax base. If we rezone it for housing, we lose a business and add more homes, which means more strain on the schools and the services. Building another 370 homes on half the golf course isn't low impact, it's high density. The developers say this won't affect our schools, claiming just one child per home, but that's not realistic. In new neighborhoods like the one they're going to build, it's closer to 2.2 kids per household. That means 800 kids, 800 new students, 40 new classrooms, 40 teachers. That's not space, that's salaries, benefits, and long-term costs. This proposal makes things worse. It takes away a business, it adds pressure to our schools, and gives nothing back. Madison Township needs development that helps Madison Township, not one that takes away what little business we have. The developers say they only use half the golf course, 9 holes for 370 homes. They'll keep the other 9 as a golf course, but 9-hole golf courses traditionally don't survive. I believe in a few years that we wanting to develop the second 9 holes. That will mean 740 homes total. That's not 800 students, that's 1,600 new students, 80 classrooms, 80 teachers, and probably a new school. A new school in today's dollars is at least $300 million. And that won't come from the developers, that'll come from the taxpayers in that area. Madison Township can't absorb that kind of strain without long-term damage. Protect our tax base. Keep the golf course, the entire golf course. Thank you.
Robert Pike and Ernie Adams.
Summary of what I just did. So I would like that.
Hello, my name's Rob Pike. I live right on the golf course on White Cloud, 13390 White Cloud Court. I believe that rezoning the Links Apartment Crossing would not only violate the original intent of the Heartland Crossing Development Agreement, it would also undermine the long-term resilience and fiscal health of the community. I'd like to mention a group called Strong Towns. I don't know whether you've ever heard of it or not, but they are an urban development group that advocates for bottom-up development involving local citizens. As this group has emphasized in numerous case studies, the loss of meaningful green space, especially when replaced by large-scale, car-dependent housing, often leads to increased infrastructure costs, diminished neighborhood character, and reduced quality of life. This proposal echoes similar cases across the country where communities have successfully rejected such efforts that threaten their green infrastructure. For example, in Naperville, Illinois, and Raleigh, North Carolina, zoning boards have upheld the public interest by preserving open green space and rejecting incompatible development. These decisions were grounded in values that are in line with the Morgan County Comprehensive Plan, including balanced growth with the infrastructure screening, without infrastructure screening. The proposal that has been presented to add single-family housing in place of the golf course would devastate our community. I think 90% of the people in this room would agree with that. As Strong Towns has noted, true public space must be active, intentional, and above all, community-driven, not merely a checkbox in a developer's site plan. I urge the commission to consider the adverse implications of this rezoning, not just for current residents, but for future generations. The front 9 holes of the links are more than just land, they are part of a well-loved landscape that fosters true balance for the community, including recreation, biodiversity, stormwater management, and true fiscal responsibility. Please reject this rezoning proposal and preserve the integrity of the Heartland Crossings green space. Let's continue to have a community that values balanced, thoughtful growth, not one that sacrifices natural assets for the short-term gains of private entities. If this proposal is approved, we who live in this community have reason to believe there will be another proposal just like this in a few years by the same group of people. Thank you.
Ernie Adams and Sharon Warner is up next.
Hello, my name is Ernie Adams. I live at 6503 East Walton. East Walton, North Drive, Canby, 6113. My wife and I have lived in Heartland, and we moved away and we came back because we love it there. I want to read something that's, if you go to the Links of Heartland Crossing Facebook site, it says a masterpiece of winding fairways, rolling terrain, and picturesque golf holes located only minutes from the airport in downtown Indianapolis, offering a pleasurable combination of challenges, aesthetics, and rewards for each level of golfer, designed by Nick Price. I agree wholeheartedly with this. I was there from opening day. I was there. I was also, for 10 years, was the varsity golf coach at Mooresville High School. And I've worked with the prior owners, and everything we needed for our golf team, they accommodated. Not a single one that we had a disagreement or anything. The previous group was very good to work with. Heartland Crossing, the golf course, is the anchor of the community. No different than when they tried to build the shopping center in town of Wardsville. When they wanted to build, they needed to get marsh to be able to build the whole shopping center. The golf course was the anchor. That brought the people for the neighborhood. The golf course has done a wonderful job with high school reunions, weddings, baby showers, and also golf outings. 9-hole golf courses will not host a golf outings. And if you see the video that was up, how much money in golf outings that the golf course brings to our community for charity. There was a picture on there, there was one check for $40,000 and another check that was for $13,000. That's just a little bit of what happens. Where are these charitable organizations going to go? Because this may be their only avenue for charity. The last thing is what we do for kids. As a high school golf coach, our greenskeeper there is working with little types this tall here, carrying golf bags too soon you've ever seen. And I am proud of those 10 years that I coached. I had great kids. They were student athletes. They're fine husbands and fathers in the workforce today. I'm proud of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon Warner, and then we have Alan Mann.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Sharon Warner, I live at
6562 East Walton Drive North in the Villas. I've been a resident of Heartland Crossing for 25 years, and I have a view of the first hole from my patio. I want to emphasize a few additional points to what's already been said about this golf course and what it truly represents, not just in acres, but in value to our community. As you know, the course covers nearly 200 acres of open, natural landscape. I walk along it almost every day, weather permitting, and while it's a golf course by name, it functions much more than that. For example, it's a habitat, it's a refuge, it's an amenity that serves the entire community and not just golfers. There are ponds that support fish, turtles, and other wildlife. Large mature trees provide perches for birds high above our rooftops. Grasses and native plants attract butterflies and dragonflies. This land supports biodiversity, something that's increasingly rare in rapidly developing areas. Losing this would be a significant blow not only to those who enjoy golf, but to everyone who values nature, tranquility, and community character. The golf course is one of the few and possibly the only true recreational and natural amenity in Madison Township. Once it's rezoned and developed, that open space is gone forever. When I sit on my patio and I watch neighbors tee off on the first hole, it reminds me of the kind of community we have right now, peaceful, scenic, and connected. But when I think about what could replace it, rows and rows of vinyl-sided homes built dangerously close together, possibly not well maintained, it's deeply upsetting. And now just imagine what happens when the construction begins and when eventually all 600 homes are built, because we all know that's where this is headed. The added traffic will be constant, heavy, making our roads less safe for pedestrians, cyclists, and children, and less appealing to future homeowners. Finally, I want to bring up something that you won't find in the planning documents, but it is just as important, and that is public perception. As a resident, I see posts on community forums and Facebook groups from people considering a move to Heartland Crossing. While they ask current residents for honest feedback, the responses are overwhelmingly negative because of the potential sale and redevelopment of the golf course. If this goes through, I'm sure the most common advice for these people will be run, don't stop. And that's not just an opinion, it's a fact. And it's something that I hope the developers take seriously, because no matter how much marketing or promotion they do, the strongest message will come from those of us who already live there. Thank you, and I'm praying you will vote no. Thank you.
And then John Mann is up next.
Do you need my address?
I have it on this, but you can give it to me.
Well, I live at 234 East Main Street in Plainfield, but I used to live across the street from the golf course at 6621 East Daisy Court.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Allie Mann. Many of the people in this room know me as the little girl who cheered on the sidelines of football games and drove the beverage cart at the course. While cheerleading was a great love of mine, it was not my first great love, nor does it define my true connection to the links at Heartland Crossing. And I'm here to tell you my story. My first true love was the game of golf, and this specific course. It was the game that taught me the most fundamental life lessons about discipline, patience, and effort. I wasn't a prodigy. I was just an 8-year-old kid grabbing a rusty wedge and putter from the garage and heading to the putting green for hours, as it's walking distance from most of our houses. I was never the best golfer, but this was always the place that brought ease to my mind. More importantly, it was the place where I truly bonded with my father and my brother, always striving to be half the golfers they were. When I turned 16 and got my first job, I became a cart girl, a title that encompasses far more than driving. Washing carts, greeting people, maintaining the grounds at times. The best part of that job wasn't the hours, it was the connections. I built relationships with golfers I saw more often than my own family, and to this day, I consider many of them my family still. Then came 2020, as the world locked down and people struggled with illnesses far worse than the virus, like isolation and depression. The links at Heartland Crossing stayed open. This course became my only escape. While many teenagers dreaded work, I looked forward to it every day because I knew everyone who walked through the doors shared one common need: an escape from the isolation, from the 6-foot distance, and from the screens. We found connection here when we couldn't find it anywhere else. When I left for college, I eagerly counted the months until I could step back into this role. Upon my return, I had the privilege of working alongside my brother, a shared experience that strengthened our bond beyond measures. And when he moved on to pursue his career, my best friend and I were given an incredible opportunity to run the clubhouse at the ripe age of 19. Working together to manage this course, serving members like many of the people in this room were genuinely the best years of my life. The Links at Heartland Crossing is not just a tract of land for development, it's someone's safe place. It's someone's escape from reality. It's someone's job. For some people, it's the only place they can truly breathe. I cannot imagine what life would be like without this place. This course is not just a part of my history, it's who I am, and it's why I am who I am. Rezoning is only going to take away the special place it's become from all of us. And please don't allow people who have never stepped foot on the course or have seen the beauty 365 days of the year with it sitting in my front yard my whole life be the deciding factor as to whether it stays or goes. Please do not allow rezoning to strip away this vital green space, this economic asset, and this emotional anchor that defines our community. Thank you.
Are you speaking? John? And then I have Russell, and I'm so sorry, I can't read your last name. Dagem? D-A-G-M? I'm sorry? Thank you. John, go ahead.
How do I follow that?
Yeah,
I'm in trouble.
could I have your address?
6621 East Busy Hill Court. I'm actually reading the letter that my son Noah Man wrote in opposition to this rezoning. The Links at Heartland Crossing means so much to me in my life. I grew up right across the street from the clubhouse on Daisy Hill Court. So I was just a little kid when I started going over to the Putty Green to work on my short game. Putty Green. I was picking balls off the driving range one day a week in order to satiate my newfound addiction of the game of golf. I would spend hours upon hours at the course to the point it became my second home. Eventually, I started working in the cart garage as my first paying job. It taught me so much and helped me make connections I still hold to this day. I went to college for a few years, but I never forgot my roots, Heartland Crossing. I came back and started working in the clubhouse and worked myself all the way up to clubhouse manager over the course of a decade. I spent my mornings, afternoons, evenings, and nights living and breathing Heartland Crossing golf. The community, the course, the people, it all made me the person I am today. And I think it is an absolute travesty to take that away from a community that is already bustling, as well as deprive it from future generations. Please don't make that mistake and rezone the golf course. It would not only be a disservice, but a detriment to the neighborhood and community as a whole. Additionally, it would defile a beautiful place of green space that is home to an abundance of natural wildlife and plant life. Now is not the time to be greedy and destroy such an important institution for the neighborhood, its people, and all living things that benefit from its current layout. Thank you.
Russell, could you spell your last name for me, please?
Yes, ma'am. D-A-I-L-E-Y.
And your address, please.
13180 Northwood Drive, Cary, Indiana. I don't live in Heartland Crossing. I live in Table Mesa, which is a neighborhood adjacent to the golf course on Third Railroad. I've been there 42 years. I was part of the original zoning for Heartland Crossing. I went in and made a deal for my neighborhood. Table Mesa, I represent. There's 40 houses in our neighborhood. I represent 38 of them. 2 of them I couldn't get along. They are all against us because the crowding on Landersdale, everything that was promised us through the last zoning, which me living right next to the golf course, I made a deal with Tim Shroud and his father-in-law, who was the actual owner. But that's where the tragic accident. But anyway, Tim and us got together. And promised to not do anything.
Pull the mic up, it's not big enough.
I'm sorry. Well, anyway, he made a promise to not do anything with the woods around our whole neighborhood. And the first thing in the minutes, I could have the zoning hearing, when I go out in 1984, I go out there because the 500-acre farm behind me is not being developed. It was donated to IMU as an agriculture farm for learning. And that's what the farmer wanted, and passed away, that's how he lived. So, we weren't going to win our battle. So they come and ask me what I wanted. Well, we wanted the woods protected for the animals, because we do have owls and eagles and deer come up in my yard all the time. And then when Tim came to me, he said, we'll fence off here, the acres here, and we'll put the golf course in. I said, wow, sounds good. I said, so how long will that last? No, it's in a deal, it's a green space, it can never be done. Okay, now, when I went before the commissioners, and we presented all this, they looked at me and said, is this what you want, young man? And I said, yes, I can live with that. The golf course be in there in my neighborhood, as long as they don't mess with the woods and save our animals, and don't come into our neighborhood. And they said, okay, they went to the other side and said, let's get this in writing. So we had a deal, and so somehow this deal's lost. Now, Mr. Brandon said he came to my house, the other day, and walked over my property, and said something about the fence and stuff, and he says, what do you want? I said, I don't want this. He says, what if? So that's when he described the fence and the mountain and the landscape. But please, don't do this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Carol, I've got Brad Likens,
Already spoken, so
I had you on another sheet.
I'll be willing to take more time.
Brian Mayo, is Brian here? And then up next, and I think I got Ernie Adams on 2 sheets also, didn't you? Did I already speak? Okay. And so Deb Thomas then will be up next. Okay, so Pat Danforth would be up next. Okay, thank you.
Brian Mayo, 6430 East Appleton Court. I live in Hartman Crossing, as I said, and I own the restaurant in Bourbon Bar across the golf course, as was mentioned. And my wife is a teacher at North Madison. I'm here to just comment on a couple of things, one of which was mentioned that it was glossed over a bit. So first, there was an open space requirement written into the original Tri-County agreement between Marion, Hendricks, and Morgan counties. The documentation may have been lost, but the intent and memory of that agreement are still clear. From what many of us remember, most of that open space obligation fell within Morgan County, and the golf course helped fulfill it. And so I don't know how a county can simply walk away from its commitment just because that paperwork no longer exists. I don't think that's how integrity or governance should work. Hendricks County's current stance of whatever Morgan County decides makes sense because Morgan County carried the bulk of that original obligation. Just like in the plot of a sequel to National Treasure, if the Constitution was stolen, everybody would say, let's just forget it and make up new rules. Losing records doesn't erase the promises made, nor the responsibilities to reclaim. And finally, I would urge everyone to look at the long-term reality of what's being proposed. Nationwide, 9-hole golf courses make up only 26% of courses that account for more than half of all closures. The odds of success aren't good, so even if development proceeds, and a 9-hole course is left behind, chances are high we'll be right back here in a few years, except next time there may not be 5 offers on the table for the 18 holes. Yeah. Thank you.
And then I have Patrick Danforth. He's back here, are you speaking? Okay, we'll pass on then to Patrick Danforth. Okay.
So, we can mark this off the list. Thank you.
I think it's Melvin Golden. Is it Melvin? Sorry. Pass. Robert Akers. Dave Clem. Randy Thomas. Brian Benham. That's what I thought. I have some people somehow signed up on 2 sheets here. I apologize for that. Brian Griffin. Brian? I could be butchering that name. Grifffaw? Grifffaw? No. Robert Neal. And then Brad Pryor. Is Brad in the room? Will you be speaking? Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Robert Beal. I live at 15223 North Park Road, Canyon, since 1987. I just want a few points I have here, Mr. Manning, in my presentation and everything, but it seems to be a cart before the horse a little bit here, as far as the building and stuff. I was wondering why we have to rezone everything first and then ask questions later. My question is why we have to rezone the entire golf course at this time? Is Tri-County water, make commitment to the water sewage, or have we had a water study done since my water pressure is failing in my house currently, but the water pressure is failing. The traffic study, there's no shoulders on Landersdale, County Line Road at this time. And I understand County Line Road is not our responsibility, it's county. But if the developer, it should have been taken care of, potholes and, 18 to 21 drop-offs of the road with no traffic. At the meeting, a couple meetings with him, that's part of it a little bit, but he has no plan B when asked for his high-density homes in constructed building and minimal specifications. I was wondering if, was that part of an impact study or animal relocation? I have that plan. As a church, is the church contracted now? Or is it just a grandiose idea, part of the plan? And he has no idea how to bring it to the current tree line. That's on the golf course, and how many trees will be cut down, mature trees, just to make room for a house. And they have also admitted to his 5-year plan to tearing down the other part of the golf course and then starting building the back already in other units. And that's just about it. Just one quality issue is there's no reason we need such high density homes. We can do something else and make it a nicer neighborhood like we have around us. And I know for being able to show you the word and stuff, and I appreciate him, doing his work over at the football stadium and the firehouse and stuff, but that's not our part of the crossing. So, everyone's simple. Thank you for your time.
Brad Pryor, and then we have Jonathan Noble up next.
Hi everyone, Brad Pryor, 3122 State Road 44, Brunswick. I'm an Orangeville kid, graduate, and art still in town. I've never been to Hartman Crossing. But I'm here primarily interested in justice for the homeowners in Hartman Crossing who have paid a premium to be there. We have a community that's gated or has parks or walking paths or lakes or golf courses that enhances the property values. And I feel like rezoning of this would be a classic bait and switch, like buying lakefront property and then saying, we want to bring this to those houses. How do you feel about that? My second concern is for the town of Mooresville. Hartman Crossing Golf Course is a huge asset. As Ernie talked about with the school teams, what's a fortune be poured into the Mooresville sports programs over the last few years, and this would be kind of a huge blow to the golf program. Ernie also talked about the nonprofits and organizations. I've run golf outings for 30 years, never made less than $8,000 for the organization I was working for. I can't imagine that Hartman Crossing does less than 40 of those a year. That's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars that go into these nonprofits and organizations like that. And there's ancillary money that goes into those. There's caterers and signing people and other things that factor into that. Also, maybe not a big concern that golfers meet before they play, and they'll rise and shine, or Bob Evans, and after they play, they go to the heavyweights and have a beer or wings or something like that. There's a huge economic impact, more than just a golf course. Meeting space is another thing. We've got 2 of our class reunions there. I don't think communities can have enough meeting space. However, if Brad Allen can convert it to a successful restaurant, I think that would be good too. I'm a God-loving, Jesus-following believer, but I fail to see a need for a 7,000 church in Morgan County and drop down to 3 golf courses. The Thrive Church, and I feel like that should not be a factor in this, is getting another upstart church. The appeal of the Mooresville community is greatly impacted by the presence of the Links of Hartman Crossing, much like the presence of Pioneer Park, who has done a remarkable job since I was a kid, and there was hardly anything there but a few baseball diamonds. I need to cut short here, so a lot of people ask you to do something, somebody should do something. I'm volunteering my services. I have the background of a graduate of IU School of Business, accounting, and would offer to be on the study, feasibility study to help say this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jonathan Noble. And then we have up next Jackie Ford. Is Jackie here? And will you be speaking? Okay.
My name is Jonathan Noble. I live at 7171 East Rising Sun Circle South. My backyard looks over the 13th green. We talk about emotions and this just being a business decision, except it's not just that. One of the reasons that I picked where I live is because I've had a desire. This better?
Yes, thank you.
One of the reasons we picked this community was because it gave us something that we've been looking for a long time for the family that I'm raising. I've got 2 small children that are here with us in the audience so they can see how these proceedings work. We've always wanted to have a golf course. We've always wanted to have that community around us. There's a serenity to it when you get to go play golf. There's a simplicity to it. There's not the hooping and hollering that you get at football games and baseball stadiums and all of that. There's a peace that comes with it. And taking that away from people is very much an emotional thing. Businesses come and go, I get it. People fail at them all the time. But there are people that are willing to take over this business, and this is nothing more than dollars and cents. This is only for me. I want my kids to grow up with a place that they can go and call home, that they can go and play games with, and they can have a community that they love being in. And by taking that away and sticking more houses in that are fire dangers with lack of resources already because of how we build our homes in today's world is not going to do what we want. It's not going to help our community, it's going to hurt it. We need to take that into consideration. I think everybody here, when you look around this room, is going to be hurt by this, and that is an emotional impact that the businesses don't seem to care about. I think we need to take a pause, and instead of developing yet another place, look at already what's being developed. One right up the road on State Road 67 already has more houses being developed on it. Why do we need another one? Great, we have another church going in, that's fantastic. But as the gentleman just mentioned, we have so many already. What's one more? When we're taking away more of our community to put it in. I love Jesus. I've been going to church for a long time. I accept him as my Lord and Savior when I was 7 years old. I'm not talking about getting rid of churches because it's not helpful for our community, but we need to take a hard look at why we're doing this. If it makes sense and we're going to grow our community through it, then God bless it and let's do it. But that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about putting more density, more problems, infrastructure that's not going to support these homes well, and it's not going to take care of the people that are already here. Please, don't do this. Not just to my family, but to all these ones that are here representing that community. Thank you for your time.
Captain Ford, and then I believe Garrett Ballou. I think Garrett already spoke. Okay, so I have his name on here again. And then, so I have Don Staples. Will you be speaking, Don? Yes?
Jackie Ford, 13382 North Patrick Grove Drive, Canby. I don't have any studies, but I felt like the Banning engineer presenter had a lot of vagaries, and I don't see how you can rezone this property. And I agree with everything that everyone has presented with their studies and all the arguments. How can you rezone this property with all the vagaries? It's just unconscionable. And I also, we represent, these people here represent a very minute portion of that community. A lot of the people aren't here because they have small children, or work, or whatever they might be busy with. We're just a small percentage of the people that are opposed to this and that will be affected by it. Our water pressure, never been good. We pay extra on our tax bill. A lot of people might not even realize they're paying it because it's on our tax bill. It's there if you look at it, but it's extra to Tri-County for the water. And it's not going to support another 370 or whatever it was, and then when they redevelop the 9 holes, when they come in and rezone that, it's not even going to support the 370 that they're already proposing. So I'm asking that you do not allow it to be rezoned. There are other options, and I think that they ought to be looked at.
Thank you. Don Staples.
Hi, I'm Dawn Staples. I live at 6460 East Deerfield Court in Canby. I have a couple things. I wanted to go back over what Brad Allen talked about. He said once again that his group had made an offer to these gentlemen for $2.5 million. Once again, that's a lot of money. I'm sorry that they don't know that that's enough money for them. They paid for the golf course $756,000. Why in the world do you, I get that you guys want more money. They're going to be getting a lot more money if this goes to development. I understand that. They have other offers out there to keep it as a golf course, which is what this community wants. To keep it as a golf course, for it not to be rezoned. I'm sorry. The Friar Church has been brought up, and there's been questions about it. The gentleman who lives next door to me, Friar Church, I think he's the pastor of that church. Friar Church has purchased property 20 years ago at entrance of Harlem Crossing. They have property. They just have not chosen to build on that. they use Mooresville Christian Academy for functions at times. They also have a very small community. They do a lot of online meetings for Sunday congregations. And when they have meetings with the elders, they do that in his house, which is my next door neighbor. They have meetings 1 or 2 times a week in his house, and there's only 3 or 4 parties. So he's been doing this for 20 years at his home. And now all of a sudden, he's been talking about, we've been neighbors with this gentleman for 4 years. And he's been talking about building a church. And it was brought to him to look at Peter and come do this. But he has had in the work to build for 20 years, but he still hasn't done it. They are making it work because they are a very small congregation, but they do the majority of it online. And when I just see these people coming in and out, at his house, they have works for them. So I don't know why this would be, it's not going to be any more difficult in the church to not have this, when they already have one in bottom. That's all. Thank you.
Gregory Allen, you wish to speak?
Greg Allen, 13350 North Blackflag Court.
Could you repeat that, please?
13350 North Blackflag Court. My back door faces the 7 T box. I've lived there 5 years. I want to thank the board for the time and consideration. Mainly, I wanted to thank 200 plus strong showed up on October 22nd. And I think even more tonight, the voice of opposition. I've heard it said that the golf course is too hard. I've cut stick price myself several times, and not as much as I used to, because it's made me better golf. Also, as far as the church goes, I went to Gasburg Baptist in Monrovia. And a lot of churches like that, they're out in the neighborhood. The neighborhood residents go to the church. We don't need a church in the middle of it. My dad was a deacon at Gasburg Baptist. I have nothing against churches. But we need for the golf course to stay with the golf course. And I mean, 200 plus are here. They talk about emotions. And I'm emotional, but I've heard a lot of reasons, and a lot of good reasons why this shouldn't happen. And it's going to affect a lot more than just the 200 people here. We represent thousands. Thank you.
That's all I have signed up to speak in opposition. Did anyone sign up that we did burn in this on the list? Okay. And then, Ron, did you want to speak in support, or are you going to be part of the vote?
The vote. Okay. That is all we have signed up to speak tonight. After the result, we would like to speak.
My name is Ron Overton. I live at 643 East Main Street in Plainfield, Indiana. I have lived at Hartwood Crossing on 2 different occasions. So I do know the community and you know the golf course very well. There's been a lot of good people, and there's a lot of good people in Hartwood. They've brought up a lot of good points and things for us to consider. One thing that I think everybody that has spoke tonight, that lives in Hartwood, ought to consider, is that had the board not looked at the property that was being developed 25 years ago, they would live where they live. Pioneer Farm was never supposed to be developed. The board looked at that and said there's a better use, and that's why they have a home. And why is it right for those people to have a home in the same area that 375 other homes can't be built? I understand the golf course issue. It is a beautiful golf course. It's in the wrong place. It's an extremely high maintenance golf course. It's extremely difficult to play, and those that play it, that will admit it, will tell you the same thing. As far as our investment, we bought the golf course in 2018. It was 2 weeks from going into bankruptcy. Everybody talks to the laughs when they say we paid $750,000. I didn't see anybody else step up and pay $750,000. I didn't see anybody else take part of their retirement to invest in this. So you can't look at that $750,000 investment in 2018 and think that's all we put into this golf course. We have over $2 million invested in this golf course. So if we sold for $2.5 million, we'd be great. And I can show you numbers. Right off the bat, that day we bought it was $760,000. Immediately we put $300,000 in renovating the golf course and the clubhouse. I believe anybody that's in this room that's honest would take a golf course and invest it in 7 years. So we've made one hell of an effort to bring this course back from a course that you couldn't even play. So we do have over $2 million invested.
Sorry.
We're not Center Grove. We're not Shadow Hills. We don't have that kind of spendable income. When we bought the golf course, we passed out 3,500 free golf certificates in every envelope that went to every home. The first time we did it, we got 13 of them back. The next time we did it, we got 17 of them back. As much as everybody wants it to be, it is not a golf course community. Then you might see 1 or 2 golf carts. I go to golf course communities. I live on other golf course. My son lives on a golf course community. Everybody in that community plays that course and owns a golf course. Or owns a golf cart, I'm sorry. And it's a golf course community. Parkland was never designed that way. It's not my fault. I didn't design the golf course. I didn't design the community. I personally ran a golf course for 5 years. It takes a lot of work to run a golf course. It's expensive to run a golf course. To Mr. Allen's point, and I'll agree with him, he's probably the most knowledgeable in this room to be right as far as what it takes to run a golf course. But I think he would tell you to operate Harley Crossing is a very expensive course to maintain. Mr. Allen did talk about, and it's been mentioned several times in here, that we have another standing offer of $2.5 million. What Mr. Allen failed to comment on was that $2.5 million is also going to bring 600 units of living space to Harley Crossing. Not 375, 600. And when I say units, it's apartments, townhomes, condominiums, fourplexes, duplexes, not just single-family homes. We're talking about an increase of less than 10% of the homes that are there now. The golf course, I understand, everybody says they love to walk by it, they love to see it. That doesn't maintain it. That doesn't bring revenue. I mean, if I lived around the golf course and everybody else is paying for it, I'd like to see it also. But somewhere, someplace, somebody's got to have the revenue and the money to maintain that golf course. It does not support itself. The spendable income is not in Harley Crossing. They mentioned that the owners have not been golf course people. And that's true for the most part. I've never run a golf course. I run a hell of a lot, and I'll tell you, this is the last golf course I'll ever run. But the numbers have increased, but the numbers that have increased are also watered with other information or other numbers that aren't accurate. If you look at green space, golf has increased from 7 to 7.7% of the population play golf. But if you look at total golf, when you start looking at Top Golf and X Golf and all these other places that are not green golf courses, that's what's been playing the biggest part of the numbers. I really wasn't prepared to make a rebuttal tonight, but I felt like as an owner, I had to say something. I want somebody else to speak for me all the time. I know it is emotional for everyone here. Change happens, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good, that's the responsibility of this board to decide. I do know that we made the effort. There was a professional golf course company that managed that course for 3 years and lost money every year, and they were a professional golf course management company. The gentleman from Barberville said he owned the course at one time. Why didn't he buy it when it was $760,000 and go into bankruptcy? So we have made an investment, we worked our ass off to make it work. They can say we didn't. I don't think any of them honestly would say that. Because I think they play it and they know the condition that course is in. We didn't have to put that kind of money in. If we were going to ride it for 7 years, we wouldn't be putting sand on the golf course. We wouldn't be having grass seed. We wouldn't be taking care of it. We wouldn't be maintaining it. We'd ride it for 7 years and say, hey, look, things are shithole like it was when we bought it. So again, the people that talk tonight are my friends. I hope they're my friends later. Okay, that's fine. That's your decision. I understand it affects a lot of people, and we're going to look at a lot of things that were brought up tonight. We are going to ask for a continuance to look at and consider a lot of the comments that were made. I don't want to step out, Spencer, but I'm not sure if Jeff has any comments that he wants to make. But we are going to look at continuance and look at green space, look at some of the other costs, and look at options. But the 2.5 million, and what else was in there? And I'm not, maybe Mr. Allen has another company or another offer or whatever, but if he's talking about the group out of New York, you would much rather have us than what those people are proposing. Okay. All right. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Ron, you are asking the board for continuous.
Yes, we are. Yes.
Thank you. Ann, would you like to?
Are you ready for me?
I'm ready for you.
Okay. I didn't know if we were finished with rebuttal.
Anyone else going to rebuttal for your side?
You have any other questions? I mean, I can rebut. But
I just want to make, you don't have to, I just want to make sure you guys have the opportunity.
Can you ask them?
Hi there. So I know you have a request for continuance, and I just, before we get into what you all are going to do. Good morning.
Everyone?
First of all, I probably should have put the microphone up to my mouth. Second, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ann Cowher. I'm the county attorney, and I'm also counsel to this plan commission. And so I am here to just advise this board regarding the statutory factors that are before you. So, in considering the request before you, you shall consider the following items pursuant to Indiana Code 3674-603. First is the comprehensive plan, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. The current conditions and character of current structures and uses. The most desirable use for which the land is adapted. The conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction, and responsible development and growth. And again, that comes from Indiana Code 3674-603. In talking about the comprehensive plan, the Morgan County Comprehensive Plan has certain stated goals. Those are to support appropriate and quality development in Morgan County, encourage intergovernmental cooperation and communication, increase housing diversity and options in the county, protect natural resources within the county, further advance quality of life improvements in the county, promote a diversified and growing economy, and encourage quality non-transportation infrastructure. Those are the factors that you should be considering to the extent we're going to have deliberation on this issue tonight.
Any questions? All right, thank you. have anything you'd like to add on your recommendation? No? Okay. Do I need to close, wait, Ann, do I need to close the meeting and then we vote on that request, or we do it before I close the public meeting?
You would close the public hearing.
And then
And then
go into
continue.
discussion? Okay, I wanted to verify.
Sorry.
No, that's fine, that's fine. Well, this closes our public portion of the meeting, so there'll be no more comments or anything at this time. And so it's,
No, do me a favor.
yeah.
Take a motion to close the public hearing and open the public meeting.
Okay, we know that.
I know, but it just makes me happy.
Okay, make a motion to close the public hearing.
Do we have a second to close the public hearing? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Apologize, we normally don't do that.
Thank you.
And,
No, we need it. No.
all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Aye, the public meeting is now closed, is that better?
No, the public hearing is closed.
Hearing.
We're still having
It's been a long night.
I know, but you closed the public hearing and you're opening the public meeting, but it's okay.
So now.
Do we have lawyers?
So the floor is open for comments. We have a motion, request to, for extension. And the floor is open for comments at this time, Mr. Brewer. Questions? Any questions? Yes. If not, I will call for a motion.
Question. It sounded like you wanted to still send continuous, just to maybe really think over what you've heard tonight, possibly, and work with them to try to come up with something more appealable to them, and just really think over what you've heard tonight. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there have been a lot of good points brought up.
Hey, I need you on the mic. Sorry.
Yes, we're looking to ask for, or we're asking for continuance, to look at a lot of things that were brought up this evening, to see what can be done to make it more tolerable, more palatable to all the property owners, homeowners, what we can do to address the real costs, property values, also to look at green space issues, and to look at making some kind of, either owner commitment or how we make everyone more comfortable with the existing nine-hole property. There's no plan to develop it. I can say it all day long, and it doesn't carry a lot of weight.
So, how long of continuance would you like? A few months till the next meeting? I don't know, Ann, is there?
I think January, if the meeting in January is available.
I have no guidance.
Okay, then December, right next month?
Hang on.
I'm sorry.
Hang on. Hey, Ann's trying to get your attention.
That's not big person.
I'm sorry. Oh, please help us.
So, I don't have any guidance on how long of a continuance you can get. And that is my point, but in terms of people shouting in the background and so forth, I mean, this is within your purview to make a determination. And so, we closed the public hearing. So, that's all I was saying on that.
Yeah, we do make a determination. There is no set time of continuance at all on these things. The minimum is 30 days, the next meeting, but it could go as far as we decide to get the extension. We did that earlier today, when we gave 60 days instead of 30, and we requested 30. So it's really for our board to decide if we want to continue. If we decide you don't want to continue it, then we would continue with the meeting and the way it proceeds. So it's at the board. The board makes a decision, and the majority of the board whichever they go, is the way we go. So, right now, we'll call for a motion.
Give me how much Marshall is going to continue this for 30 days.
We have a second. Call for a second again. If the motion fails without second, do we have another backup?
We could do this at our meeting in March. Right? It's got in. When's our next one coming up? Is we've got budget stuff in January. I would say that in March, I can live with. I make a motion.
So we'll move to the March meeting. Do we have a second to move the meetings to the March meeting? Mr. Hell, second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? No.
Can I have, you raise your hands for me so I can have them down?
Ayes, raise your hand. 4. No. So the motion fails. No, that's 5. So the motion fails. Any other motions?
I make a motion to continue in January.
We have another one. Do we have a second?
All second.
All right, any other comments? I don't make comments. It seems like a portion of it's one to 10, and a portion is no. I understand both sides. Fully.
My only reason is to give them a chance to try and come together and find something that's going to work. You're not going to make everybody happy. I understand that. But at least it gives you guys a chance to talk, like them, try to.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. We have a second.
Yes, Bill
That's
seconded
fine.
it.
Bill seconded it. So we have a motion for January. So, Mr. Patrick, you made that motion, correct? Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Can you raise your hand for
Put your
me?
hand up. All opposed? Say no. No. We're not getting where you're at. You know, I see both sides of this. I see we've had these people here once, and we had to not have our meeting when we had quorum. They come back in the same form. I kind of think, nothing against the extension, but I think we owe to the citizens who showed up a vote. I'm not saying a yes or no or anything like that. I'm just saying, they're here twice.
I need a minute. This is a first for me. Ms. Parker and I are talking about this. You had a motion to continue, it failed. You had another motion to continue, it failed. So you've had two.
We've had three.
You've had 3 motions that failed, which basically means it gets automatically continued. And that's what we're dealing with right now. Yes, hold on. We're just dealing with that right now.
I had no idea.
Yeah, hold on. Just give me a minute.
I thought it was only 2 votes. Yeah, I only, what was the third motion? What was the third motion? 'Cause I only had that Kenny made one. Well, that was mine on the second. I didn't get yeah, Bill didn't, oh, okay, that's what I, okay. Kenny did block that.
We apologize for the delay. We've never had this come in front of us in 20-some years of being on this board. So this is a new one on. Please bear with us. Let's take a real quick,
That'd be.
10 or
give me-
15.
Yeah, give me 10.
10 minutes, please. We're going to take a 10-minute break.
No, there's not. Not when I put you right there.
102. You guys are like.
You go to this. Well, we were up to 32. We're back down to 29. Microphones are live. Microphones are back on. We don't have I don't think I can be here that way. All right, do you want to yell at everybody to sit down? We'll hear you.
Hey, everyone, we're ready to start again. Please have a seat. Please have a seat, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for having patience with us. This is news to all of us. We've sat up here for years and years, and like Melanie said, she doesn't think we've ever had this situation. We have never had this situation. So we had to check it out. I would like to also say the petitioner, you did, thanks for being a professional and taking care of your business that way. And everyone that spoke, I want to say we appreciate the way you acted tonight. And you handled yourself very well. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. We've been through some really bad ones lately, and we appreciate a good one. I am going to call the meeting back to order. Our attorney has gave me a piece of paper that says, per our procedures, it is in Article 6, Item 2B. It says when a vote the PC results in a tie, or where a vote of the PC does not result in an official action, which it hasn't, a different motion may be reconsidered, which we consider 3, followed by a revote. Lacking a different motion, I don't know what that means.
Well, if nobody has an additional motion.
Well, which we had 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, is somebody gonna come back and suggest February?
Yeah, I mean, the petition shall be automatically continued and heard at the next regular scheduled meeting of the BC. So it's obvious we'll never get a vote. We need 5, we have 9 members, we need 5 votes, yes. So, it's obvious, there's 4 of us thinking one way and 3 of us thinking another, we'll never get another. We'll never get that number to that. So, per our procedures, we must continue this till the next meeting.
December 8th. December 8th.
December 8th, okay? So.
I'll be back.
That's fine. So it is continued on next meeting.
Names, I'm taking names.
We still have
Next
to,
November, just be ready.
we still have to continue our meeting.
All right.
All gonna be gone.
So, hey, sir.
What?
Please, we're still got a meeting to go through.
Well, fine, I'm leaving.
Fine, but just,
All your politics.
hi, sir. I've asked you once.
I need 2 times.
Well, you need to exit. All right. Well, maybe I ought to retract it, take my previous statement back. No, you did a good job, so we really appreciate it. It's a shame that some people act that way.
Hey, walk me out. Let's go. I'm walking out, just walking out.
You just walked out that door to walk around to get him, I think.
So it is going to be December. We're sorry for the inconvenience, but our rules are our rules, and we have to abide by our rules.
December 8th.
December 8th. And it'll be at 6:30 in this room again. And, that's it, sorry.
We still have to continue our public meeting.
Yes.
Hang on, Ann's trying to get your.
What, do you need to speak to us?
Do you have anything else going on?
Laura?
Well, I just gotta see if, we're still in the middle
Our
of it.
meeting is still going.
We still got a
We have
meeting.
not had a motion to adjourn. Do you need me?
No, I don't need you. Laura, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, it's automatically continued. It's automatically continued by statute.
Please step to the mic and just to let the board know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, at this point, we don't need another motion to continue. We know how that comes because you vote no and you vote yes, and so but the rule says it's automatically continued. So you are automatically continued by rule. And the key thing here is that it's continued to December 8th,
6:30.
6:30 in this room. But everybody's starting to mill about and wanting to come up and ask questions, and I was just asking if you needed a motion to adjourn or if this board has other
Well, we just have to make
business.
sure that our plan director does not have any staff for any other projects.
Gotcha.
While you're up there, do you have staff? You're on the list.
I do not have a staff.
The attorney's not the staff, it's Laura.
Laura will take, Ms. Parker will handle the staff report.
Ms. Parker?
Sorry.
Ms. Parker, would you like to, you got anything?
All over again? Do we have to go through this all over again?
Yes.
So the meeting is still going on. I cannot reiterate enough that the meeting is still going on.
Vote on.
I do not have a staff report, thank you.
Okay. In that case, I will call for a motion to adjourn.
Any
Wait a second. Walk around.
I make a motion.
We already have a motion and a second. It's all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion's closed. Motion, meeting's adjourned.